All right. Do you want to check it real quick? Just
Check, check. Hey. Check, check, check.
I think there's one more. I think
Checkity, checkity, check.
that should be good. Okay. Yeah, and we're going. I don't really have a real intro for this, so
No worries.
I just kind of go.
Yeah.
Thank you for doing it, Wyatt. I really
course.
appreciate it and letting me come to your not house, but studio.
I guess I live here.
Do you really live here?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Me and everyone that runs this place.
That comes. I really appreciate you doing it for the new year, the new decade rather, and
Thanks,
it's
man.
great to break it in with you, man.
Thanks for reaching out and thanks for being here.
Thank you for saying yes, because I mean I've gone through people and it's hard to get them on, which is fine, but I'm so glad that this is one of the easier ones, which is great.
Cool, man. I'm glad.
But well, what I want to talk to you about is obviously Lollipop and your start in music and whatnot. So, what was your first band that actually kind of took off, that you kind of found some success in?
I don't think I've ever found like success per se.
Yeah.
But the first like band depends on how far back you want to go. You know?
As far back.
The first
as
band
we
I
go.
ever toured with and traveled. The first band I ever went on tour with was a band called Tremors.
Okay, yeah. That's so interesting. Stonio from the Growlers used to be in that.
Anthony.
Were you guys in it at the same time?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It was me, Anthony, Tommy, and Louie.
That's so interesting, man. I was at Amoeba the other day and I actually saw Tremors tape.
Oh,
I was
really?
like, wow, like yeah, that's awesome.
That's funny. Yeah, that was like the first band. I think I was just a senior in high school or something like
Wow.
that.
So what around what year was that?
2009 or 2010, something
Wow.
like that. And that was fun, and
And that's Orange County based too, right?
Yeah.
You're from Laguna, right?
Dana Point. To
Dana
be
Point.
exact.
Okay, well, great. That's right around the same area as
Yes, same
those
shit.
guys. That's awesome.
So that was fun, and that I don't know. You probably know from talking to people in bands kind of disintegrate, or
Sure.
people go do different things,
Or turn into
whatever.
something else. Yeah.
Anthony played with the Growlers, and things just kind of got, life happened or whatever.
Yeah.
And
Would you play in that band?
Drums.
Nice.
Yeah.
And you went to school for that, right?
For
a little bit.
I attempted to.
Okay, that's good too, right?
I attempted to. I was really into jazz drumming when I was younger.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. Okay, so Tremors, and how long did you stay in that band for?
Probably 2 years, something like that.
So going
2
from
years, 3 years, 2 or 3 years.
Wow, that's a good run.
Something like that.
Wow. Okay, and then from there, where'd you go from there?
From there, did you ever hang out in Laguna Beach, like in the early 2010s?
Not really, no.
There was this venue. I guess it was a venue / like record store / vintage clothing store that had shows called
Wow.
Trash Pretty.
Okay, that name rings a bell. Not there anymore though.
Not there anymore.
No.
No, it's been gone for a while. But that's where I met old friend of mine named Thomas, and we started playing music. This is the same time as Tremors, and we were just jamming and doing weird shit in my parents' garage because we were young, and
Right.
that was what formulated the band called Mr. Elevator, which I was in for the longest amount of time. And it just kind of started from there, and then we moved. We ended up getting this really cool rehearsal space in San Clemente, where we would just write and record and do whatever the fuck we wanted till God knows when. And we just were really stoked on playing with each other.
No noise complaints though there.
No, it was like a designated music building. It was,
Wow. In San Clemente.
Yeah, it was really strange.
That's odd. That's cool though. That's a great place to do it, I feel like.
Yeah, I don't even know if it's still there. I don't know if it was legal. It was behind a gas station.
That's perfect.
And we had this room, and we were all living at our parents' house, so it was really cool to have a place to go and get drunk and be loud and make noise. And
you need that.
Put
you
up
need that as a
weird
kid.
tapestries and shit,
Awesome.
So we did that, and then we moved to LA together because there's just a lot more happening up here at the time than in Orange County. And we lived in this little shack of a house and made our
That was
first
by
album.
the Echo, right?
Mhm.
That
Yeah,
place?
yeah.
Okay.
So in that band, I was in the longest, you know, up until about 2-3 years ago.
That was spanning from like
2012.
wow. That's
Something like
that like it's a good run. That's yeah.
About 6 years or something like that.
Yeah. How many albums did you guys put out in that time?
In that time, we put out 2 albums and 1 7-inch.
That's what I thought. It was the one I believe you're on the cover, right, with Mr. Elevator. If I knew his name, I'd say his name.
Thomas.
Thomas.
Yeah.
It's you and him on the cover with the balloons, right?
Yes, exactly.
Great one. And then the other one is just drawings, right?
Yeah.
On the front. Okay.
Yeah.
Also a good one.
Those
Not
are the
too
two.
familiar with that one, but yeah, great.
Thanks.
Which is still found on lollipop.com, correct? People can still buy it?
No, technically there's a different label that put that out.
Oh, okay.
Rad Cat Records put that out.
Well, people can still get it, right?
Yeah, you used to look on Spotify or wherever. So that was fun.
That's awesome.
And
So that was your initial move to LA. Like that's
Yeah, it
what,
was
that's what
just
got you out of the OC.
just to further the bands, you know.
Right. That's great. And then what was your first inclination that, I'm going to start a record label?
It's complicated because I started it originally in Orange County,
Right.
when I was living at my parents' house, and they were lucky enough to give me a piece of the garage to have a little computer and guitars and to record and noodle and stuff.
Yeah.
And there was this really cool band called Your Ugly Sister
Okay.
from Laguna Beach. They were high school kids, and they were just raunchy. And
Right. You went to school with these kids, right?
I didn't even go to school with them.
Okay.
They were just
Around.
and they were youngsters, and I was just stoked on them, and I thought it'd be cool to put a cassette out
Yeah.
for them at the time. And so that's kind of what started it.
Mm-hmm.
But it was really not intended to be anything more than just
A platform to put out a couple bands, maybe.
to put out a couple of bands, especially really designated just to South Orange County and, you know, the neck of the woods that I came from. And so when I moved to LA, I still, you know, it was something that was in the back of my head. I really liked the few bands, like Adult Books was one too that I put out really early on.
Which are still around, right?
Yeah, they're still around.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. But they're all from the same area. Your Ugly Sister,
Adult Books.
Adult Books, Mystic Braves, all from like a similar area. So when I moved to LA, I was shocked at how many bands there were and how many, it was just so much shit happening constantly.
Mm-hmm.
And so much of it I was inspired by that I thought it would be interesting to put out bands from LA.
Be a part of it, right?
Yeah, I just wanted to support my friends and music that I thought was cool. And it was weird seeing people from different countries and random places across the states ordering these tapes that I was making in my kitchen or whatever.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And that was is a weird thing. That was a fuel enough. Just the few people around the world that were buying the tapes consistently.
Right.
Like, well, someone likes it. Someone likes it. Maybe we should keep doing it.
You know, Argentina, Belgium.
So
All
that's
the hot
basically what
spots.
spurred Lollipop, and it was just a giant snowball
That's great.
from
And
that philosophy.
in the beginning, were you still going under the name of Lollipop
Yeah.
Records?
It's always been
since
Lollipop
the get-go.
Records.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And when did you start branching out? Like, I mean, obviously here, but when did you start to gain like traction, like more and more people, not just local bands that you personally know?
It's hard for me to say because I'm so tethered to like the internal parts of Lollipop. It's hard for me to look at it from a bird's eye
Outside
view.
perspective, yeah.
Yeah, but I know that when we started conjuring up more of a sense of community
Mm-hmm.
with bands, that's when things felt like they were moving faster. Where we would have, for instance, there's this grouping of bands, probably 2014-ish, where it was Corners, Froth, Mystic Braves, Mr. Elevator, and the Brain Hotel, that were constantly playing with each other
Yeah.
and hyping each other.
I've never heard of any of those bands, by the way. That just right over my head. No, but always in the same kind of like grouping, like.
Well, we hung out with each other.
Mm-hmm.
Lollipop put all the records out.
Mm-hmm.
We played shows with each other. We toured. Then we ended up. We just kept pushing it, touring with each other, hyping each other, playing each other's shows, collaborating on songs. Just I don't know. Just there was a sense of community, and it spurred further than that. Even that's just one example, but there's a sense of a community, and I felt like that's what I feel like took the label in a different direction. Not necessarily the releases as much as just people conjuring up a sense of community and congregating and making music together.
Right. Which is awesome. Did you like that feeling? Like, man, like we're really doing something now, like with.
Of course.
With these
Yeah.
people.
It was awesome. It was awesome. And
Yeah.
that's always kind of been the backbone of, at least what I think the backbone of the label is it's more of a family. It's more of a sense of community rather than just a label putting out songs.
Yeah.
You know,
There's a sense of like somebody is in the back of this. It's not just a huge corporation of some sort. Right?
Yeah. It's more like everybody knows everybody.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's different now than it was back then,
Mm-hmm.
slightly, just because a lot of the people I grew up with are older, life happens, kids,
Sure.
marriage, all that stuff.
Studios, podcasts.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. A lot of people move and, you know,
Right.
so it's slightly different now, but, you know, the space that we're in right now has very much been kind of a community center in a way.
Which is awesome. I mean, it's always needed. In any asset, in whoever comes and goes, it's still like that. This is something that needs to be here, which is great.
I think so. I don't know. I think music is such an independent form of art,
right,
and can be really isolating.
Mm-hmm.
And it's nice to know that there's people that appreciate your art and are supportive and
what you're putting a lot of time into, if not all. It's in somebody's backing that. Like that must feel great.
Yeah, it's amazing feeling. There's a lot of struggle that comes along with it, self-sacrifice and all that. But,
Right.
You know, I love what I do, and I'm really lucky. I'm happy for everything that's happened.
That's awesome to hear, man. It's so good that you're still like enjoying it and still present in it and not, you know, backing away from what you were doing before, which
Thanks,
is
man.
great.
Thanks.
Yeah. Well, thank you for being I mean, you put out a lot of good people. I mean, I was so interested to see the Pesos tape being put out recently. I was like, wow, Lollipop, like that's just great. I mean, you got a lot of great stuff going on, and if you want to plug anything right now, I think that'd be a great time.
Oh yeah, no, I mean there's nothing to plug really. We're just
except Beach Bums, right?
There's so much Beach Bums. We're working on a bunch of stuff. The Pesos have been here practicing a lot.
Oh, it's great. It's good.
Cheap Tissue's been here practicing a lot, and they have a new record, and it's just a bunch of stuff. You know?
Very nice. Making moves.
Trying. It's just more trying to push boundaries.
Mm-hmm. And when did you start putting out stuff on your own as Wyatt Blair?
I always have since high school.
And then you participated in other groups like Mr. Elevator and the Brain Cell.
Yeah. It was always. It's just always something I've done. I think since I was probably 15 or 16, just writing songs, and I had a little like gateway computer that had forget what Garage. I don't know if it was GarageBand or Cubase or something on it.
Right.
That I would record onto, and I just fell in love with recording. So I just started putting out weird stuff, and I had a friend who had a label that put my very first stuff out when I was in high school. So I've always been doing it basically. And now, I mean, in these would you say like 2 years you put out a good amount of stuff, right? Yeah, I mean my goal in 2018 was to put out 2 like full albums. So there's 2 albums in 2018. And this year I want to put a song out every month. I really want to put a song out every week.
Yeah.
But I'm starting with just doing a month, and it's been about 6 months of that.
Which is great. I mean, that's great. Kind of put a deadline to yourself, and it's like, I mean,
yeah, I have to.
Let's see
I
what
have to. I'm the kind of guy that I'm
Right.
too, you know,
All over the place.
all
Yeah,
over the
that,
place
yeah.
and idealistic, and I daydream I need to tell myself like this needs to happen and get done at this point.
Right. In
and then
order
do
to
it.
be, yeah.
Yeah.
That's all. That's great though. What were the 2 albums that came out in 2018? Was one of them Inspirational Strawberries?
Yeah, that
Is
was
one
the
of them?
second one. The first one was called Smoke and Mirrors, and then the second one was Inspirational Strawberries.
Yeah. The Smoke and Mirrors one, is that you on the cover of it in the
Yeah.
leather jacket, right? With the teal background?
That one's called Point of No Return.
Okay. That
Yeah.
I loved Inspirational Strawberries.
Thanks.
That was one. I think that I found it at Burger.
Oh, cool. Yeah, yeah.
Honestly,
They
yeah.
did a cassette of it.
That was it. That was a good one. And during that time, what was your kind of inspirations, or how'd you feel during that time to be producing those songs, especially on Inspirational Strawberries?
That was an interesting time because I actually moved out of state for a year and a half.
To Arizona, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's just a much different place. I was born and raised here.
Right.
So what most 90%, 95% of my life has been here in California, LA specifically.
Mm.
And so going to northern Arizona where it's pretty rural,
Yeah.
it was an eye opener for sure. And
In a good way though, right?
yeah, oh
Like,
yeah,
just
totally.
Like, oh, there's not
Space.
4 million people in
Yeah,
this city.
space, clean air,
Yeah.
cowboys, totally different.
All the above.
Yeah, and so it was weird it's always been an issue for me finding a space that I can lock a door and turn the light off and be weird and record myself.
Mm.
It's an outlet that I've always needed. I luckily have a place like that now, but it's always been an issue trying to find that kind of, it's hard to afford any more than a room in LA.
Sure. Yeah.
So
yeah.
when I went out there, everything's cheaper, significantly cheaper. And I had a house in the woods. Wow. And I had a whole bedroom in my house dedicated to recording.
That's awesome.
And I put weird lights in there and locked the door, and it just was my zone.
Right.
And that's how I made those 2 albums, really. I don't think if I had that space, I wouldn't have been able to do it. But specifically that when I got that house was when I started Inspirational Strawberries. And I was really listening to a lot of Bobby Fuller.
Okay.
And
He there's a big hit that he sings, right? Like there's
he did The Clash covered a Bobby Fuller song and made it really big.
Was it Police and Thieves?
I don't know. I'm gonna look it up right now.
Yeah.
It was I'm forgetting the title. Bobby Fuller 4. That's the name of the band.
Bobby
I was
Fuller
really
4.
into that shit. Really into it. And I was
So that's
really
what you listen to in the woods in a house. That sounds amazing.
I fought the law, yeah.
Okay.
I fought the law and the law won.
We're gonna have to redact that because I don't want to get sued for this one.
But he's the guy that wrote that song originally. He has a bunch of other great songs. A lot of Del Shannon and Beatles, and I just got kicked back into, I don't know, something about the woods and ruralness, and
It's just a change of
I
pace.
had more of an
Just
acoustic
a change in
guitar
environment, right?
Yeah, it was totally just, I don't know why that's the kind of music that I was into, walking around. And
Awesome. And how long did it take you to write that album specifically? Roughly.
Not that long, because half of those songs I wrote on the spot in my underwear. I put a mic in front of my guitar and just said, all right, let's see, I'm going to write a song. And I just dick around and a song would pop out,
That's great. I mean, that's so natural, and doesn't seem forced at all in any aspect.
It's the first time I've really done that. Yeah. And I enjoyed it. And now I try and make most of my music that way rather than thinking a lot about each song and, getting everything pre-organized.
Right.
And I just kind of like closing the door and just pressing record.
Are you able to just like not tinker with the song too much and like stress out about this could be better, this could be better? Or
I definitely tinker.
Do you see? I mean, but not you're not like really honed in on like just like trying to get it to perfection though, right?
No, not necessarily.
And that's good. I feel like a lot of people, like even myself in like other aspects, is just like constantly, what can I do to make this better?
Yeah.
Which is so great that, I mean, you and other people are able to look past and be like, all right, this is just, it's good enough. It's great.
I feel like if you don't feel that way within the beginning stages of creating a song, then it's probably
Not
not good.
Yeah.
That's, I mean, at least for me, I'm harsh with myself. If I start writing a song that sucks, trash.
Yeah.
Next one.
Gone.
Don't feel it, trash. I have like hundreds of songs that I've never done anything with just because I just didn't like them. They just didn't turn out the way I wanted.
Yeah. Do you ever go back to those songs that you...
Sometimes if I'm bored, I'll open up the folders. And there's actually times I've will open up one that's years old, and I'll think, oh, why did I trash? And I can think of a melody, and then I finish it. So I don't know.
That's awesome. Can you hear yourself in these headphones?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, I'm gonna take mine off. I cannot hear it, but it's all right. We're going outside the realm. I mean, that's a lot of songs though, to just be not trash, but kind of put to the side. I mean, just that they're there is great. Anyways, and I'm assuming that like you can revisit it and then come back and be like, oh, you know what, I could, not in this sense, but I could use it another way, which is great.
Yeah. It's really random. Yeah.
That's awesome. And you toured, right, with just under your own name?
Yeah, I used to. Yeah.
Yeah. And did you prefer that over touring with the whole band and others?
Well, honestly, I never liked touring that much. I did when I first started touring.
Was that with Mr. Elevator and the
band?
band?
Yeah, Mr. Elevator and Tremors, and there's a few other bands I toured with, and that was fun. But as I got older, I realized I really didn't like it.
Yeah,
it's not for me, and I started recording more.
It takes a toll on you though? I'm assuming, right?
Oh,
it's
yeah.
Like constantly like next place.
Definitely.
Yeah.
It's there's a sense of only worrying about the moment you're in when you're on tour that is nice, because there's you only have to make sure you get to the show on time. That's it.
Right.
That's your purpose for X amount of days you're on tour. That's fun, and I do miss that as the simplicity of touring, but the physical ramifications of no sleep, getting fucked up, not knowing where you're going to sleep, not making any money, sitting in a van all day,
right,
not moving, and then you get to the venue and you're sitting in a dark room all night. Sometimes you play to nobody, and it can become an existential crisis. Fast.
That's always great. I'm assuming to be. Oh, nobody's here, but yeah. Do you have any specific memories of being on tour that were good? That were like, this is a great moment.
Yeah, I have tons of good memories. Yeah, I mean, there was some that specifically there used to be a venue in New York called Death by Audio.
Okay.
And they're not around anymore, unfortunately, but they were kind of like the Smell of New York.
Okay.
Whereas an all ages warehouse venue. There's not a lot of all ages places in New York as far as I know.
Right.
And that was and it was amazing, and they treated bands really well, and it was fun. And
cheap? Is it like a cheap?
Yeah, $5.
That's great. That's awesome. I don't know anybody else who does that.
It was awesome, and it was right in Brooklyn, right on the water, looking at Manhattan. It was an awesome place, and they made all their guitar pedals there. I guess their guitar pedal company.
Yeah. Okay. That's what I thought, because I've seen a commercial on like YouTube or whatever. I was like Death by Audio.
Yeah, they still make pedals, and I think they have a location somewhere, but I don't think I think some big company bought that building they were in, or it's like McDonald's or Vice or something. I think it was Vice that bought the building, but I have a lot of good memories there specifically. And
how many times do you go out there?
Probably like to Death by Audio. I've probably played there 5 or 6 times.
Wow, that's a good chunk of. I mean, 'cause that's all the way on the other side.
Yeah, but a lot of the beginning too is one of the only places that you could play if you weren't, a huge band and you weren't already known, that would have you. So, yeah, it was cool. I have a lot of good memories there, definitely. I have a lot of good memories in Austin, Texas too. It's a good, cool town.
I keep on hearing that Austin is a
It's changed
great place.
a lot, but it's a cool city.
It remains well endorsed.
Yeah.
Um, now, did you go on tour with Tremors first? That was like your first tour that you're going outside the state. And do you remember where you went in that?
We went to Vancouver and back.
Wow. Okay.
Just like west coast, up and down, basically straight line. And that was fun.
That was and all the times that you toured, was it usually in a van? You going across?
100% of it.
Yeah.
Some shit van that barely works. And
one of those Sprinter vans. Yeah, that's.
Yeah, I wish we had a Sprinter van. No, it's like a Ford Econo line that was leaking gas, and every time we stopped, we had to put oil in it and shit. It was
great.
It's funny.
That's perfect. And going on a road trip. Going on road trips, anyways, it's awesome. It's great. You're hanging out with buddies. But to be playing music with your friends, I feel like that's a whole other aspect, which is like, not a lot of people know about.
That was my favorite time, was with them, just because it was so new. Mm-hmm. And I was 18 or 19, and I was like, whoa, I'm in fucking Seattle right now, and I've never been there.
Yeah.
Playing a show, and there's all these people. We're staying at some random house somewhere in the woods, getting fucked up.
Where'd you find? Did you guys have the money for a hotel, or were you just finding places?
We would just
stay?
Cross our fingers that someone would put us up.
Would you guys just ask around, like, hey, you?
Usually on stage, would be like, if anyone knows a place to stay, blah 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 blah. Here's our next song, and someone would be nice enough to say, "Yeah, stay with me." So.
And roughly how many dudes would be crashing at that one place?
4 or 5.
4 or 5. Okay.
Yeah.
In like the same room or whatever.
Depends. There's so many different situations that we've been thrown into. There's times that someone would have, and a lot of times too, outside of California, people have more space to themselves.
Right.
So that, I have a guest room. I have a basement. A lot of basements in this country that are just
not in LA though.
No, not in LA.
Yeah.
A lot of just people that have basements that are just a giant empty space, and you go crash down there.
Yeah.
Attics, random shit.
Attics, man. I don't even know. Because there's attics here, but there's not. You're not hanging out in it. You can't sleep in it.
Yeah,
it's
they're
really
small.
condensed.
I'm talking about big,
space.
Yeah,
extra space.
Most of the country have, like, the South has a lot of attics. The North has a lot of basements. Mm-hmm. So it's interesting. But slept a lot in those kind of places. Slept a lot in the van too. If
great.
Things didn't work out
with 4 or 5 other dudes.
Yeah.
Wow. And we weren't at each other's throats.
Yeah, definitely. We were.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
good.
For sure.
some good rivalry going on.
For sure.
Inside the band.
It was good for the most part. There's, everyone's had their moments.
Right.
But
so I've heard, but you enjoyed that. That's.
Yeah, and I enjoy it more looking back on it,
right? And not in the
reminiscing.
Present. Of course.
But I think in the moment of sleeping in your car in Kansas, it's like 2 degrees, and there's 4 smelly ass dudes in the van, and you have no money.
Oh,
that's in the moment. I definitely wasn't having a good time, but looking back, it was funny to.
It was a great.
It's funny to think about. Yeah.
And do you still keep in contact with these people that you've been in these bands and gone through those experiences with them?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I talk to all of them still. Mm-hmm. One of them I don't, but
that's all right. That's just how it goes.
Yeah. I hang out actually with one of them still. We hang out like all the time.
That's awesome.
Still record together and play music with each other. And
good guy, right?
Yeah, and my business partner, like the guy I run Lolipop with,
right?
We've been doing this ever since then together.
Wow.
We have matching tattoos and have traveled the fucking country and done crazy shit and lived in a van together and
lived in a van together. Was that just touring, or is it just like temporary?
Yeah, touring.
Okay.
All
right. And that I don't know his name, but the guy from Mystic Braves, correct?
Yeah, his name's Iggy.
Yeah. And you guys, he's the
Yeah, me and him.
Founder, perhaps? Runner?
Co-owner, I guess.
Sure, co-owner.
Yeah.
Which is great. You gotta have. And do you like, you guys are a team at this point, right? It's we're
for sure
putting out these people, we're doing this, we're doing that.
Definitely.
Yeah. I feel like that's really important to have in any big sense of something. It's like, I'm with you and you're with me, and we're doing this together.
Yeah.
Which is great. How many people are on Lollipop as of right now, roughly?
You mean like bands?
Yeah.
Uh,
Or individual artists?
Man, it's a hard question to answer because we've probably put out. I don't know. That's a hard question to answer. I don't know the answer to that. I can tell you we've put out probably close to 300 releases.
Wow.
But I don't know. A lot of them are from, we'll put out 4 albums for one band.
Right.
So it's hard to tell exactly how many people we've worked with, but I would say maybe 100, 200. I don't know.
Wow.
Something like that.
That's a good amount. Wow. And I mean, looking at it now, did you ever think that you'd be up to this point in your career? I mean, at 18, 19, hanging out in the vans in Kansas.
No.
Definitely not. Are you glad that you're here right now? Like at
it's
moment?
not. It's just I am. It's just not what I expected, and it's not. I think if you would have asked me 10 years ago where I think I would have been, I definitely wouldn't have told you right here, right now.
2010, like that's yeah. And I mean, when was this created? When was Lollipop?
2000. Technically 2010, but really it didn't, like the start button didn't press till 2013,
right.
12, 13, something like that.
That's still, you still got a good amount of years on that. I mean, now looking at it now, I mean, it's only up from here, right? I mean, doing pretty well.
We're trying.
Yeah.
We're trying.
Doing
our best.
That's awesome. I feel like there's not a lot of people doing this. I mean, around here. I mean, like Burger and Nar Tapes,
mm-hmm.
and I mean, and you, and that's like I feel like that's when everybody thinks of like record labels that like are like have a face to them. It's gonna be those 3.
Got it.
Sure.
Got it.
And a shout out to Ricky Gage and the Memories. Those guys are great.
Yeah.
Fantastic guys. Good,
yeah.
Good music, nice guys.
Definitely.
But yeah. Do you see yourself? I mean, have you guys put out any records like physical vinyls?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Tons. Yeah.
Is it more tapes or vinyls?
We don't do as many tapes now. We do more records now,
mm-hmm.
and we're doing a lot more digital stuff now, just because that's where people are listening to music.
Right. That's the platforms.
Yeah. But the thing, I love tapes. They're my favorite format to me out of all of the formats. I prefer cassette, but most people probably don't have a cassette player.
Mm-hmm.
But most avid music listeners have a turntable.
Right.
So records are easier to sell.
Sure. And there was like a huge cassette like boom for a minute there, and yeah.
I think it's still. I don't know. Maybe I'm biased, but I think it's still booming, and I love tapes.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Do you have a tape player in your car right now?
No, I don't.
Oh man, I've heard that like CD players are hard to come by in like newer cars now. Like, that's insane.
It is insane.
I'm still rocking the cassette player, which
that's
is
what's up, man.
Great. It's awesome.
What's up.
But I hope I don't get a new car like anytime soon, because like what am I gonna do with all these tapes? Like I can't. Like I mean,
you can still get a Walkman or something.
Yeah.
It's not the same as
putting
it in your car.
Yeah,
and click.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's something cool about that.
Yeah. I mean, and I remember that when we first met, I saw a Cosmonauts tape from the Men's Warehouse live. And I was like, wow, that's crazy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, man, I need to get this one, just because it was just such like an odd like rarity thing.
Yeah.
And it was just great seeing. I was like, wow, like it's great that I could take this, and then after the show put it in and drive home and listen to it. Like I don't have to wait, which is great.
That is cool. Yeah. I don't know. I think cassettes, unfortunately, will always have ups and downs and booms, and then people not listening to them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. They're small. They sound good.
Yeah.
They're easy. They're cheap. I mean, to me, it's the ideal format to listen to music on. It forces you to listen to the entirety of the album, and
unless you want to risk skipping it and then getting it eaten.
Exactly.
And
it's cheap. You spend $4 or $5 and get a whole album.
Yeah.
You can take a chance on a band you never heard of because it's a few bucks and whatever,
Like Mr. Elevator and the Brain Hotel on Rat Cat Records, right?
There you go. There you go.
Get that plug in there. That's great. How's it going, man? How are you?
I'm good. You guys are recording, probably. Sorry.
No, it's good. I just need to sign a release form after this, but it's all right.
It's our friend Adam who's been helping with all the
How's it
construction.
going, Adam? I'm Jacob. Good to meet you too, man. It's great, in and out. How many people are work with you here?
So we have me and Iggy own the company. Adam has been helping out with us for years, building shit, helping us in the studio. We have an employee named Aubrey that does all of our mail order and shipping and stuff. We have also a guy named Ian who's doing all the actual like wiring of the studio right now.
Yeah.
He's been here all the time. And then we have a guy named Ian, a different Ian.
The different Ian.
That helps with like marketing. It's basically our in-house PR guy.
I mean, I feel like with a huge number of people working under something, it's just like it loses its like comfortability in a way. Kind of like it's like, but it's just a label, you know. It's just a brand. It's just a this, just a that. But like with a select amount of people who are doing like functions in the space, I just feel like it's like I'd be way more way more fond of like spending my money there than something else that's not
For sure.
as personable or whatever.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Definitely.
What I'm trying to say is fuck the big corporations. But that does remind me, I do have to do an ad read for McDonald's because they are sponsoring this.
The McRib is back.
Yeah, the McRib guys, sir, bringing it back. What's a memory of a show that stands out to you that you've played? That was memorable.
There was a house party that Mr. Elevator played on one of our first tours in Tacoma, Washington, and it was in a basement. That was
it wasn't here.
It was in it was in a really like shallow base. It was really
Low ceiling.
Uncomfortably low ceilings. I remember, and it was just a fucking wild house party. Insane.
How many people in this basement?
I couldn't even tell you. The basement was probably the size of this room, but imagine the ceiling being really low, and it was just packed of people, like crammed in like sardines. Yeah. And it was just fucking crazy.
But that's awesome. How big was the house? Pretty sizable. I mean, for this,
it's like
for
a
this
nice
amount of
family-sized house. I don't know.
Right.
There's a bunch of people. It was, it's kind of like a party house, college house in Tacoma, and there's probably 4 or 5 people living there. And it was just a fucking. We slept on the stage, the little stage thing.
Ah, great. Yeah.
So
After everybody parties.
Crazy night, you know.
Yeah. Did they ask you, or did you just kind of?
Yeah, they somehow, the guy who lived at the house was in a band called Big Eyes, or I'm forgetting the name of the band. But they reached out to us because they were having a house show, and they noticed we were playing in Seattle. Tacoma's like an hour and a half away.
Sure.
So, hey, you want to play this house show? Fuck yeah, cool, let's do it. So.
And it was on.
It was a place to stay, place to play.
Sure.
We met that Big Eyes band, and we ended up playing more shows with them, like down here and random places.
Later on down the line.
Yeah, it was fun.
That's awesome. I feel like house shows in any aspect are like very intimate, and it's like this is only happening here, like at this moment. It's great.
They're the best. Any band, any rock oriented band will tell you it's just the most. For me, is the most fun.
Right.
Playing this kind of show.
What was the last house show you played?
Oh fuck, I don't know. It's been a long time.
Will you do it again?
Yes, absolutely.
All right. I
just don't remember the last time I played a house show. I don't even know. It's been a long time. That's all I can say.
That's all right. Somebody will hit you up. Hey.
Yeah, I'm always down for that shit.
All right, man. That's all. I mean, that's cool. It's just a certain feeling in there. It's like this is awesome. Like,
yeah, it's just different.
Like closest buds. Like, let's go see this band in this house in this basement.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome. Anything else? Any other really good or terrible shows that
there
played?
Was one show. Another memorable show was in New York. It was very last minute, and it was at that Death by Audio venue, And I think
Proud sponsor of the Vineyard podcast.
I want to say it was the day before. We were already on the bill, and it was Mr. Elevator, some other bands from New York. And the day before, Death by Audio was like, hey, can the OCs play? They're in town. They've nowhere to play. And
I hope you said no.
They're here right now. Like, fuck yeah, of course.
John who? John Dwyer?
Yeah,
I never.
Yeah, of course. And so they ended up headlining the show, and it was just amazing show. Yeah. And seeing them play in a venue like that, because it's not very
pretty
big,
small,
it's intimate. It feels like this. It's smaller than the Smell. So, but it's that same kind of environment.
Yeah,
seeing them play, and it just was really special. And it was pouring rain outside, so everyone had to be inside.
What year was that?
Probably 2015.
Wow, so that's like really recent.
Pretty recent, 2014, 15, something.
That's
like
awesome that they wanted to play. That's
yeah,
great.
It was really random. And
had you played a show with them prior to that?
No,
never on the bill.
Never knew them, never met them.
Yeah, John's a really nice guy. And if you're listening, John, we're gonna get you on one day. Because I had Dan Rink on. That guy's amazing too. Cool. Great, yeah, good guy. But speaking of people on podcasts, who would you want to have on your podcast ideally? Coming up down the line, future guests.
I don't know. That's a good question. I think
podcaster.
I don't know. I'd like to talk to Sean and Lee.
Oh yeah.
Just because I haven't talked to them in a while. And
of Amoeba, right?
Yeah.
Amoeba Berkeley.
Amoeba Berkeley.
No, they're great guys. Sean and Lee. And Brian. And Bobby.
Yeah. I don't know. It's a hard question to answer too, because I like talking to different people. I like talking to you right now.
I appreciate it, and I like talking to you.
To me, it doesn't.
It's been a great one. It's been one for the record, for
Sean
the books.
Lee, I guess maybe like Mike Tyson would be fucking crazy to talk to.
Yeah, Mike Tyson's.
I feel like that'd be really interesting.
Crazy.
I feel like I'd be really intimidated.
Yeah.
Wouldn't know what to fucking say.
It'd be fun though. I think.
Yeah.
I think that like he seems pretty loose. Like,
yeah, he seems chill. He's he's had such a fucking insane life.
Yeah. The face tattoo. Going through like the face tattoo. That's insane.
Yeah, it's intense. He's not fucking around.
No, not at all. If you were to get a face tattoo, would you do it like on the eye, like he did it?
No, I don't think so.
I just asked my buddy this last night. What's up, Ralphie? I know you're gonna listen to this one. He's a nice guy. I was asking him. He's like, maybe on the chin. I was like, that's a neat one. I never heard.
I would
of
do that over the eye for sure.
Yeah.
I would do the neck if that's considered. Is that considered like face tattoo? Like
I guess
under
so.
the ear shit. It's pretty cool. I'm into that shit.
Yeah. Do you have any tats right? Oh, you have the one that you're matching with.
Yeah, I have
you didn't say his name, but we'll leave it blank. But yeah.
Yeah, I have some one on my chest.
How old were you when you got your first tattoo?
I was 23, 20. I'm not sure. Early 20s.
Mm-hmm. And was that on the road or was that here?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Cleveland, Ohio.
Nice. What is it of?
It was one of the first Wyatt Blair tours that we did, and we were promoting the album Banana Cream Dream.
So you got a backing band for this one?
Yeah.
Because you've gone solo though, right?
I've
and
gone
just
solo,
have like
and I've had a band both.
Okay.
This is when I had a band, and it was just me and two other dudes, and we were stuck in Cleveland, Ohio for like 5 days.
Why so many days?
Because there was some hurricane watch. It was insane.
You get to a basement immediately, dude.
We were freaking. It was really sketchy.
Yeah.
And one of the guys in the band had this idea of getting matching banana tattoos for Banana Cream Dream. So we all got banana tattoos.
That's tight. That's awesome.
That was the first one.
Are you still stoked on it? Or you got it?
Yeah, I'm stoked on it. People think it's like a Family Guy. There's some kind of cartoon, I guess, that looks like the tattoo I have, and people think that's what I got it of, but I have no idea.
Are you stoked that you're in relation to whatever they're thinking of? That
I guess I still haven't looked it up. It's some sort of banana that dances cartoon.
Okay.
Thing. I don't know.
That's cool too, though. You know.
Yeah, I don't regret it. I don't.
Awesome. Were all of your tattoos on the road when you got them?
Most of them, yeah.
Most.
Probably. Yeah, most of them. I think only 2 were not on the road.
That was here or
that was here,
California?
And it was because me and my girlfriend the last 2 years have got bought each other tattoos as presents.
Did you know what it was? That would have been awesome if you just didn't tell each
we
other.
got to choose.
Ah,
But I will say the last one I got was very. I didn't even know she was going to do it because we talked about not doing tattoos last year, and then she coaxed me into doing it, and I didn't have any. All my
inclination.
tattoos I've never thought of. It just happens in the moment.
Sporadically.
Yeah, and I just get it. So it was very just that moment I had to pick what I wanted and just went with it.
Are names associated with these tattoos, or is it
No
just
name.
kinda-
The last one I got is a Thin Lizzy tattoo. It's a band.
Who?
No, a lot of them are just random. Bananas.
I meant names as in like your girl on your
Oh,
on
no.
your body and
No,
your
no.
name on hers.
No, I wouldn't do that.
That's
Fuck that.
that's intense. One of my buddies, he has like the classic heart tattoo on the on the
Yeah.
arm, and you know how it usually says like mom or something in
course.
it. It just says not you. I thought that was
Oh,
pretty
that's
clever.
cool.
I was
I
like,
like that.
yeah, it's funny. But put this back. Real quick before we wrap it up, though, is there anything that you'd like to promote?
Not really.
Not just Lollipop.
I guess that's all I'm doing
Records.
right now is Lollipop and putting out songs.
And that's all you need to be doing. Who's asking for anything else? You know,
Yeah, I have no expectations. I just
except Mike Tyson, and we're gonna have him on. I'll get him in contact. That's it though, right? That's it.
yeah,
Nothing else
this-
at the moment.
hopefully when this place that we're sitting in right now, it's not done yet, it's not public yet, but once it is, people can just come here.
At like a storefront or just
Not
kind of
necessarily
visit.
storefront, people can just knock on the door and come in,
It's a good deal.
Till we get to that point, it's just a lot of work and trying to get things done.
I mean, this is a pretty low ceiling basement that we're in right now, but we'll figure it out. All right, man. Well, it's been a pleasure, dude. Thank
Yeah,
you
I appreciate
again.
it.
I always end on a handshake, and that was a terrible one. I'm sorry.
No, that's good.
All right,
You got a
man.
firm grip.